Hey guys, my name is Tito. I make videos on personal finance on my other channel. In fact, I recently put out a video where I reacted to something that Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo said about buying shares of Nigerian banks. It was an interesting video. It's not too long, it's around 8 minutes. I think it's worth your time. You can check it out once again by clicking the card in the corner of the screen. Anyway, on this channel, I talk about other things like today when I'll be reviewing the new Nollywood film on Netflix, Tokunbo. Please bear in mind that this review will contain spoilers. When an ex-car smuggler has to raise money for his sick child's treatment, he takes on a job to deliver the kidnapped daughter of a highly placed government official and make a lot of money in the process. If he refuses, the life of his family will be at stake. Tokunbo stars Gideon Okeke, Chidi Mokeme, and Funlola Aofiyebi and is directed by Ramsey, Nouah. Yo, guys, please remember to like this video by clicking on the like button and subscribe to my channel as well by clicking on the black subscribe button. Those things help this channel, they help me, and they help this video. So if you want to do me a favor today, like and subscribe, and feel free to share this video with anyone who you feel might enjoy it. Thanks so much. Now let's head back to the video. Now, I've been looking forward to this movie for a while, well, since I heard about it and since I saw pictures from the premiere a few days ago, a premiere I wasn't invited to, but that's a story for another day. Anyway, I was looking forward to this movie and I actually renewed my subscription to Netflix yesterday, Friday the 23rd, just so I could watch this film. Now, to my left, I have a bottle of Johnny Walker Black Label. It was a gift from a client. I'm not a drinking man, but I don't like to waste things. So every now and again, when life is stressing me out, I pour myself a little bit of this Johnny Walker and I chase it with a cola drink. And I feel like it's going to be, I'm going to need it for this review. So that said, guys, let's start the review beginning with the performances. I don't even know how to pour this thing, just to show you how much of a drinker I am not. Cheers, guys. Woo! Gideon Okeke as Tokunbo. Wow. Damn, I need to chase that with Pepsi. I forgot about that. Gideon plays the title character Tokunbo in this film, and Gideon is fantastic in this, as he is in most of the other films that he's in. He's a really, really good actor. I think he's an actor's actor. If you ask other actors about Gideon, they'll tell you how great the guy is, right? His performances are always 110%, and he was really good as Tokunbo. The physical acting was there, not just in that final scene where there's the fight, just the way Tokunbo carries himself with such physicality. I felt that. And the fact that Gideon is playing a Yoruba character, you know, because Gideon himself is not a Yoruba man, he's an Igbo man, but he plays this Yoruba character convincingly enough. Chidi Mokeme plays Gaza in the film. I don't know what to even call Gaza. He's a criminal, essentially, right? Now, I felt like Gaza was a watered down version of Scar, which was Chidi Mokeme's character from Shantytown from a couple of years back. But nonetheless, a really good performance from Chidi Mokeme. I also think it didn't really help the fact that he only appears in the beginning of the film and in the end of the film. So we don't really get to connect with Gaza. And it felt like a bit of a letdown or a shame, right? But like I said, good performance from Chidi Mokeme. Darasimi Nadi plays Nike, the daughter of the CBN governor who gets abducted in the film. Bless her heart, she does a good job. You know, she's a cute kid. She's meant to play a cute kid as well, and I guess she pulls that off well. The bond or the connection between Nike and Tokunbo, they could have done more to establish that connection, but nonetheless, Gideon and Darasimi have good chemistry in the film, as you know, whatever the situation it was in the film, so that was there and that was good. Kudos to Darasimi. Funlola Aofiyebi-Raimi is also in the film as Folashade Bankole Smith, the CBN governor. What can I say? It's Funlola Aofiyebi-Raimi playing a strong woman, a strong-willed woman once again. Honestly, I wish casting directors would cast Funlola Aofiyebi-Raimi in something different from like this strong-willed woman or this feminist who is going against the grain. It's starting to feel somewhat monotonous. I'd like to see her in something different, maybe playing like a soft babe, you know, a girl who doesn't like to shout too much or something like that. Something like that's a polar opposite from what we tend to see her play in these films. I'm digressing. Let me get back on track. Tosin Adeyemi is also in the film. Strong performance as well. Once again, I wish we got to know a bit more about that character or that character's backstory. Majid Michael, the villain in the film. Majid Michael, I have no doubt that Majid Michael is capable of playing a good villain, right? But a good villain is appreciated more when you know his motivations and his backstory, which I don't feel like we got with Raymond. You know, we just know he's the villain, we know he's the deputy CBN governor, we know he doesn't want the cryptocurrency thing to be abolished, but we need to know a bit more from the guy to appreciate that character. But we did get we got a good performance from Majid Michael, but it's hard to appreciate the performance if there isn't context there. Woo! What I liked the cinematography and the camera work in the film. Shout out to Mohammed Atta, the DOP for this film. It was very good, very clean. I also liked the color grading of the film. It gave the movie a gritty kind of tone, right? I liked the drone shots in the movie, especially when the drone is following Tokunbo's car, you know, when he's trying to take Nike to the border and everything. And other times when they do that, that was cool as well. I also liked that they had money shots. In fact, now that I think of it, everything I liked about this film was the visuals. I liked that there were money shots in this film, i.e. memorable scenes or vistas or shots, essentially, right? The first one being when Tokunbo is pouring fuel into his car and they take a shot from like underneath, like the fuel tank portion. It was a very brief shot, but it was there and I really liked it. The second one was the first time that we see Funny Bone's character, when Gideon goes to see Funny Bone in his shop to borrow 9 million naira, and you know we see the camera pushing in, you know, to the two of them. I loved that. That was very clean and very memorable for me. And the lighting in that scene was very good, and the lighting too generally in the movie was good. The third money shot in the movie for me was the empty car park where Gideon's car is in front and they've just put Nike in the car, unconscious Nike in the back seat. And, you know, Gideon is standing like some ways away from the car and he's looking at the car and it's an empty car park. I love the composition of that shot. What I didn't like, you guys, fasten your seatbelts. It's about to be a bumpy ride. Number one, too many cliches in this film. Too many cliches. The most annoying one was how they depicted the villain in the most cliche way ever. You know, he's sitting in the shadows. They're filming him from behind. He's wearing a hat. He's talking with an altered voice. He has his brandy or his whiskey at his side and his laptop. He's surrounded by luxurious cars. We've seen that 1,000,005 times in several other movies. They should have just tried to be creative with the villain, or, you know, portray a different type of villain. When I watched that, it just reminded me of Michael Clayton, the 2007 film that starred George Clooney, and how the villain in that film was Tilda Swinton. A brilliant film. The villain in that film was a person you never would have expected to be the villain. And I found myself wishing that they had gone that route or told that path in this film, Tokunbo. Number two, I felt like this film insulted my intelligence a number of times. I will list 7 times for you right now that I felt like this film insulted my intelligence. There are more, but there are 7 specifically that come to mind. The first one was how they wanted us to believe that that is how you abduct the daughter of the CBN governor of the Federal Republic, by a man going into the girl's locker room and sedating the child and putting the child on his shoulder and covering the child with a towel. And he walks out of the changing room like that, walks out of the swimming pool area like that, leaves the premises like that, with an unconscious child on his shoulder covered with a towel. The second thing that made me feel like my intelligence was insulted in this film was how they wanted us to believe that Nike and Tokunbo were bonding. Given the circumstances, you are a child of a highly placed government official who has just been sedated and abducted, and it's clear that it's a kidnapping. And this guy, he has a strong face. Doesn't look like a nice guy. Yet, two of you are now bonding. You are sitting on the boot of the car, eating meat pie, drinking Coke. I couldn't fathom how that was Nike's reaction to what was going on. This guy was drugging her. But yet, they are forming paddy and chummy. Number 3, how they wanted us to believe that the deputy governor of the Central Bank of the Federal Republic was micromanaging a kidnapping. Not his proxy or his subordinates. He himself was sitting at a desk all day, making phone calls to the abductor and to the parent of the child that he abducted, and he's there drinking whiskey and doing muffled voice. A whole deputy governor of the Central Bank. And it just made me wonder, what state is the economy in this film? If the governor of the CBN is off duty because they've kidnapped her daughter, she's having personal issues, the deputy governor, her deputy governor that should be working in her stead and running things, that one too is off duty because he's the one that actually abducted the child. So both governor and deputy governor, they are not on duty. Why won't the economy of the country be upside down when the governor and deputy governor of Central Bank are playing Nollywood? Number 4, when the car drove off the bridge and went into the lagoon, it was daytime. It was late afternoon. It was still bright, very much so. Whereas Tokunbo and Nike, they come out of the water at night time. It was pitch black. So it's safe to say that they were in that water for like an hour. Is Tokunbo an Olympic swimmer? Of which Nike was unconscious. Did they not come up did they swim under the surface of the water throughout, such that nobody on the bridge, those policemen chasing them, they didn't see them, and the fishermen on the river, those ones too didn't see them? How were they in that water for that long and nobody saw them? And do you know how hard it is to swim while trying to carry or rescue somebody who is unconscious? How did any of that portion of the film make sense? But let's move on. Let's say number 5 now. When they finally apprehend Majid Michael's character, the villain, and they are taking him away. He's in handcuffs, right? And then Folashade Bankole Smith says, "You bastard, you killed my only child." And then he's like, "It's just business." "Business, my only child." And then all of a sudden she's like, "Nike, she's alive. She's alive." The husband too says, "She's alive?" She said, "Yes, she's alive." And then the villain says, "Lucky you." Miss CBN governor, are you and your daughter communicating telepathically? Do you have like some Professor X kind of thing going on where two of you can communicate telepathically? Or is it Holy Spirit that drops it in your spirit that your daughter is alive? Nobody shook her and said, "Madam, you are hallucinating. You are losing it. The shock of you losing your daughter is making you hallucinate." Nobody said that. But she goes from, "My daughter, you killed my only daughter," in the same breath to Nike is alive. How? Where did that information come from? Number 6, the fight scene where Gaza is kicking Tokunbo's ass. He kicked him from workshop into the car park. How did they even get on top of that trailer, Seth? On top of the container. Anyway, they fight on top of the container. They come back down to the ground. Gaza is just beating this guy. I was hoping that Tokunbo would get a punch in. I don't think he did. Anyway, in the midst of all that fighting, Gaza's boys are watching and saying, "Gaza, Gaza." One of them, his gun now falls down. Adunni now picks it up. And she kills Gaza. And the boys are watching her do that. Finally, the thing that insulted my intelligence probably the most in this film was how after everything that happened, Tokunbo abducts this child. There are no indications that he's planning to return this child to the mother or to the parents. He's taking this child from point A to point B to get his 30 million. He's a bad guy by all indications. The only redeeming quality he has is that he lost his child. This individual, by the end of the movie, after he's apprehended, he's released and he's now employed by the governor of the Central Bank of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to be the driver/bodyguard of the same child that he was a party to the abduction of. Who should see it? Because I feel we don't get to see Gideon Okeke, Chidi Mokeme, and Tosin Adeyemi enough in films, I think you should see this movie just to see these brilliant actors. The movie still has a few merits, in spite of what I just said in the portion of what I didn't like about the movie still does have its strengths. I also think that you should see the film if you enjoyed Ramsey Nouah's other 2 films that he directed. That's Living in Bondage, Breaking Free, and Ahana, the rattlesnake, the Ahana story. This whiskey is really kicking in. In conclusion, I wish that this film was a bit more mindful of its audience. I felt like we were taken for a ride a bit. Pun intended. I also wish that Folashade Bankole Smith, the CBN governor in this movie, was just maybe the MD CEO of a commercial bank or a microfinance bank. That would have been more believable than her being the CBN governor. Because if she was a CBN governor, she would have had police detail, you know, and all that. The security would have been so tight that it wouldn't have been that easy to have kidnapped her daughter, you know. I give this movie, Tokunbo, 1 jollof over 5. 1 over 5. And I need to say 1 or 2 things, yeah? Chris Ode produces this film. He's a brilliant award-winning producer, and it's directed by Ramsey Nouah, like I said earlier, who's another award-winning individual. These are heavyweights in Nollywood, right? They make good films. Perhaps their films are not for me, so I'm really going to be keeping an eye out for people's responses to this movie. But the point I'm making is, sometimes when I say disparaging things about movies, people send my videos to the filmmakers, right? So if by chance Chris Ode or Ramsey Nouah see this review, if they stumble on it by themselves, that's fine. But if any of you, if Mr. Nouah or Mr. Ode see this film and it was sent to them by somebody, I just want them to know that the person or the people that sent them the link to this video, they share my sentiments, but they don't want to say it to them directly. They had issues with the film, but they don't have the mind to tell them themselves. So they sent them this video so that they can, you know, say, can you imagine this young man, see what he's saying about this film? Them too, they share my mind though. You know how people are. They're too scared to say certain things, but they'll now come and hide behind somebody else like me. So Mr. Ode, Mr. Nouah, salute you both. Yeah, I respect you both. You do wonderful films. You're heavyweights in the industry. But if anyone sent you guys this video, chances are they share my sentiments, but they're just not, they don't have the balls to tell you. And I must say, I respect them once again, right? Chris Ode, I follow lots of people who have been beneficiaries of his training, of his workshops. He's been training, he's been on that side of filmmaking lately, where he's doing capacity building, and it seems very impactful, and I really commend him for that work. And I think he even put out a book recently. So kudos to Chris Ode for what he's doing for the industry. And like I said, he makes really good films. Perhaps, you know, some of the films are just not for me, right? And Ramsey Nouah, Ramsey Nouah, right? I really, really appreciate him as an actor. I've been fortunate to see him just once or twice. I think at the AMVCAs a couple of times, and I really loved his performance in Blood Sisters so much that I've seen him maybe in real life from a distance, maybe 2 or 3 times. Each time I want to shout, Uncle B. Because I really loved his character, Uncle B, in Blood Sisters. That was my favorite Ramsey Nouah performance, and he's a really good actor. But I don't know, maybe the films that he directs are just not my cup of tea. So it's not as if I'm trying to, you know, run these gentlemen down. The point I'm making is, even though I did not necessarily agree with this film, I still very much respect the people who are in the film and the people who are behind the film, just in case they happen to stumble on this review one way or the other. This was a long one, guys, and it was enjoyable because I was slightly inebriated, I think. If you enjoyed this review, please like it by clicking on the like button just underneath the video and subscribe to my channel as well. by clicking on the black subscribe button on this channel. I don't just do Nollywood movie reviews. Sometimes I talk about other things. To check out what I do on this channel, you can click the card in the corner of the screen. Be sure to also check out my personal finance YouTube channel as well. Thanks once again for watching, guys. Check out some of my past reviews and let me know in the comment section what you guys thought about Tokunbo. Thanks for the final time, guys. I have to go and grab something to eat because, yeah, this room is spinning right now. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.